Hello, hello, hello. Blessings, you guys. Welcome to Empower Wise Power Hour. Empower Wise Power Hour is a transformative broadcast dedicated to equipping wise with invaluable insights for their spiritual and personal development. Through our engaging content, we strive to empower women to become powerful and confident wives, offering them essential information that will ignite positive transformation in their lives. Hey, you guys, welcome to Empower Wise Power Hour. I am glad to be on today. Listen here. Today's topic, we're gonna be doing a question and answer, you guys. I have dropped on my YouTube community asking you guys to drop your questions, ask me anything, and a few people participated. You guys, thank you for your participation. But before we get into that, I want to invite you guys, if you have not scheduled your personal power hour as yet, your personal power hour consultation. Listen, you guys, go ahead and schedule that. Through our Power Hour consultation, I will equip you with tools and insights necessary to overcome obstacles. I will look at your personal challenges and give you practical strategies to help you to navigate what you're going through and to give you a roadmap that will help you to be effective as you strive for personal development, spiritual growth, and success in your marriage. I know that a lot of you out there, you've been asking me, Meltoria, help me. I know that you probably have not considered personal coaching, group coaching, but you still need some information, you still need some advice. This personal power hour is for you, okay? And for those of you guys out there who said, hey, I need some real work, some real help, that are thinking about coaching, whether that's through my group coaching or through my personal coaching, make sure that you go ahead and schedule a consultation so we can discuss, your issues and how I would be able to help you through coaching. Now, let me tell you something. Some of you guys are sitting on the idea you need to make movement. You got to pull the trigger. You got to say within yourself, you know what? This is what I need to do. I am going to do it. Okay. So listen here, do not delay. Make sure that you are getting an opportunity to sit with me so we can, go through some of the issues that you're going through and get real solution. Also, you guys, of course, some of you may already know, I want you guys to check out my new cosmetic brand, Classy Colors. We just launched our lip gloss collection and I would like your support. You can go to the website www.classycolors.com, purchase something, or subscribe to our social media. Hey, or even listen here, just share. If you don't purchase nothing, you don't subscribe, share. You may know somebody out there who are looking at right now. I just launched my first collection, which is lip gloss. So you may be interested in that. Anyhow, you guys, let's get right into it. Again, some of you who are participated and dropped your questions. Thank you. I thought we got some real good questions and I want to get into that. Okay. So one of the first, well, not the, let me see. This is the first question. Don't know. So let me just pull it up right quick. And you guys, listen here. If you still have not had a chance to put your question in, but you want to, go ahead and just go to my YouTube channel and find the post where I'm asking you to ask me anything and drop your question. Okay. So let me get into this thing right here. Okay. I don't know if this is the first question or what, but I'm going from the bottom to the top. So someone said, do you confront in-home prodigal after seeing him in public with the other woman? First of all, stop calling your husband prodigal, okay? As a wife, you have that spiritual authority to speak life or speak death, right? And I know that a lot of people understand prodigal in the concept of one that have left, left the faith, left the home, left the covering. I understand that. But you have to realize, and I talked about this before, I did a video on this before. You have to speak into your husband where you want him to be, where you want him to go, not where he is. This is something that I've said all the time, even in the midst of when I was at the peak of what I was going through. I didn't call my husband a cheater or anything like that. Listen, I call him a man of God. I call him the priest. Listen here, I call him the head and not the tail, above and not beneath, the lender and not the borrower. Right? Remember the Bible said life and death lies in the power of your tongue, and those that love it that will eat of his fruit. So every time you call your husband a prodigal, what are you declaring? You are declaring that he is a prodigal. You are declaring that he is a wayward spouse. You are declaring that. So what you want to do? Is that what you want him to continue to become? No. And I'm going to do a detailed video on that, because I know some of you guys just started joining me, so you may need to hear it. Do you confront in prodigal after seeing in public with the other woman? My question is, why? Would that change the situation? Would that add to it? Would that make it better? No. This is a case of pick your battles. You already know that your husband is being unfaithful. You already know that he is not walking a godly path. You already know that he is in this extramarital affair. And you already know, and he already know that you already know. So why are you going to confront him? What is it going to benefit? Is it going to help? No. So my answer to that would no. Pray about it, absolutely, because I know that seeing him would probably be hurtful. So what you do, you go before and pray and ask the Lord to give you strength to endure the process that you're going through, to endure this storm, to endure this season of your life. And then you pick yourself up and you go through your day, right? Another question. Have you ever wanted to throw in the towel? I feel like the more I pray, the more things are getting worse. Let me tell you something. Not because you're praying, that means things are going to get better. Not because you're believing, that means the tides are going to turn. Actually, it's the absolute opposite. Because now your prayer is engaging with spiritual warfare. Your prayer is engaging with the enemy. So he is going to turn up the fire 7 times harder. Because why? He wants to trick you into stopping. Listen here, I just posted. Well, I didn't just post, but I was looking at my Facebook history, which I always like to do, because I like to see like where my mindset was like 7-8 years ago. And let me tell you something, I gotta talk to you guys about that, because for those of you who just joining me, just watching, you wouldn't see this, but those who've been hanging around for a minute, y'all will know that I have been shocked myself, because back then, 12 years ago, however much it was, I was really speaking into my future. I was decreeing and declaring things that I am living in right now. And Facebook history, memories allow me to see that, and I'm blown away every time, right? So I posted I saw on my Facebook memories how I was talking about the storm, right? Don't let this storm trick you into thinking that there is no sunshine. And I just read that just a few hours ago, so it's crazy, right? Don't let the storm trick you into thinking that there is no sunshine. Because why? While you're going through this difficult time, this difficult season, guess what? You're going to want to feel like giving up. Absolutely. I can't even count the amount of times that I had to stop myself from giving it and remembering, the decision that I made that I was going to stand for my marriage or that I was not going to give up. Like I had to, it was a fight against me against me. It wasn't even an enemy. It was me against me. Me who want to give up, battle the me who do not want to give up, battling the me that want to give up based on the things that I was going through, the things that I was seeing, facing, enduring. Like I just had to continually tell myself, like every time that I was on, that cliff of, jumping over, like I was on the edge, I had to tell myself, no, I can keep going. No, I could give up. No, God didn't want this. So yes, I did want to throw in the towel many times, but I just, like I said, the battle was me against me. So the battle is you against you, and what you're going to do. So, and this is why it's important to build your spirit man up in this season. And I know that we talk about this a lot of time. Not just me, but other people talk about that spiritual growth and development and drawing closer to the Lord. And the reason why that is so important, because your spirit man and your flesh man or your physical man is in a battle and is in a fight. I know you all we want to think that it's us against the enemy all the time, but your greatest enemy ain't even, the accuser, is not even Satan. Your greatest enemy is you, because you are the one that have to make the decision. A lot of times we lose battles not because the enemy has won, but because we gave up, right? That's why the Bible said, do not grow weary in doing good, for in due season you shall reap if you think not. You will reap if you think not. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind, you guys. What prayers should we do for a partner that doesn't trust but truly loves you? Okay, so I didn't get an answer back, but I asked the question to this poster: what is the reason for the lack of trust? Okay, so that will determine like what kind of prayer that is necessary. So you have to understand the root cause of the lack of trust. Is the root cause of the lack of trust because something that you have done, right, that caused him not to trust you? In that case, now you have to pray for his healing, right? Because he needs healing from the hurt that he experienced that caused him to not trust you anymore. So what you pray for healing, right? A renewal of his heart. Remove his stony heart and give him a heart of flesh, right? Pray that the Lord heal him from his brokenness. Whatever traumatic experience that he had, you pray and ask the Lord to heal him from that trauma so that he is free to trust again, so that he is free to forgive, so that he is free to move on. This question, I could do a whole video on this, okay? But I was like, okay, Lord, what I could do, because I could do a whole video on this question. How long did it take for you and your husband to balance it out after restoration? And how long did you have triggers? This, I could take an hour to answer this question, but I'm going to try my best and not take an hour. Okay, for timeline's sake, let me just give you guys an idea of the timeline that I was dealing with restoration or the fight for my marriage. I found out that my husband was unfaithful about 06, right? 06. I found out that my husband cheated in 06. 06, 07, 08, 09, jeez, 2010, 2011, so 6 years. Wow. Hold on. Let me go back again. Because see, I was saying 4 or 5 years, but this is like 6 years, because I found out in 06, and I found out around July 06 because I was getting ready to have my middle son. So 06, 07, 8, 9, 10, 11, 2011 is when my family and I relocated to America. And we really had to relocate because listen here, we needed a fresh start. We needed a change of environment. I mean, things were just not going well. And my husband said, "Hey, let's move." And I remember getting a prophetic word that I was going to, leave the country. I thought that this was my resting place, but God is going to move me. And I literally said to the man of God who prophesied to me at the time, I said, it'll take a stick of dynamite for me to leave my job and leave my church. And through the course of that time, I lost my job and basically had to leave my church because let me tell you something, I couldn't find another job on the island if it was to save my life, right? Because people were looking at, my experience and just saying I was overqualified for the jobs that I was applying for. And mind you, when I say I was overqualified, I didn't even have a degree, you guys. But anyhow, experience count. And so anyways, through that time, the peak of it all, having to deal with, my husband, being very aware that I was aware of what he was doing, praying and crying and, losing weight, losing hair and all that stuff. So, okay, so y'all riding this timeline with me. So we looking at about 6 years, right? And then from 2011, right, when we moved to America, 2012, my husband and I, we started to get in a better place in terms of our relationship, trying to work things out. We were at about 2013 when, we were really 2013, 2014, 2015. When we were really working out our relationship, communicating better, trying to roll out the towel and confess what we didn't do and just trying to be better husband and wife, right? So that's 2012, 2013, 2014. 2015, 2016, my husband and I, we were in a great place, but we still was in, there's still healing and deliverance that needed to take place. And 2013, you guys, was that time when I said, Lord, if you can't fix this cannot be fixed, and I will be okay with it. And I always talk about that in my videos because that's important. That's that place of surrender. That's that place of understanding that you have to surrender to God. And I know some people already tell me, Meltaria, I ain't there yet. Well, listen here, get there and get there fast. Because ain't nothing happening until you reach there. So until you fully surrender and to have that trust in God, because the reason why you're not there is that's because you don't trust the Lord. You don't trust the Lord to say, God, I surrender this to you. And I believe that whatever you do is going to work out in my favor. That's why many of you ain't there yet. But I got there because I realized that if God don't fix it, this is an unfixable situation. And I also trust him enough because his word says all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. I trust him enough because his word says heaven and earth will pass away, but his word will remain. I trust him enough because his word said that he seek to perform his word. He honor his word above his name. So if you ain't there yet, get there fast because that's the place that you need to be. So anyways, at this time, and I said, God, if you can't fix it, it cannot be fixed. I will be okay with it. It was when I was introduced to healing and deliverance. And so another part of the question was, how long was the triggers? Well, first of all, I didn't know about triggers. So now the Holy Spirit had to reveal to me, the realization of, demonic spirits and how they were at work, not in my husband, but how they were at work in me. Because it's easy for you to look at the evils that your husband is doing and already say, hey, he needs deliverance. God, I need you to come through for him. Lord, I need you to change him. Lord, I need you to remove this out of his life. But guess what? The Holy Spirit had to show me, yeah, that's going on in his life. But you got these things you dealing with. You have these things that is at work in your life, and I need to work them out before I can work things out in him. So then I began to realize how there was so much demonic work going on in my life that I had to deal with. That's why, the place I needed to go in God, I wasn't going. Right? The prayers that God wanted to answer, they couldn't be answered because there was so hindrance from my part. I was the one that was doing the praying. I was the one that was doing the believing. And if God was going to come through in those areas, he needed these things to be fixed. So then 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 4 years, that was a time when the Lord was working on me, and I wasn't focused on what I was going through, what my husband wasn't doing, what was going on in his life, because why? I was busy focusing on me. Right? Some of you out here, you going hard on standing for your husband. You going hard on interceding for him. You going hard on believing for the restoration of your marriage. But let me tell you something. You got to work on you. You got to pray about you. You have to be restored for restoration to take place in your marriage and in your family, because you're the one that is praying, and God is seeking to answer the prayers of the righteous that avails much. But you have to be in that righteous position. That's why the Bible said, if my people that are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, forgive their sin and heal their land. But you don't want to invest in you. You want God, forget about me, work on my husband. He out here, we could see what he doing. See, we could see his demons, but guess what? That ain't the demons would hindering your whole restoration process. It's those that exist in you. Because what God is going to do the earth, he is doing through you. So you have to be in right standing and right position so that the work of God can be done through you. Right? So anyhow, 2016, 2013, 14, 15, 16, 4 years now. Mind you, me and my husband in a better place, right? We didn't have these woman issues no more. We didn't have these issues where, he was still going out and, we didn't have those issues no more. Our issues that we were having during this time was like what I call phase 2 of restoration. Right? Because, phase 1 is that change him, transformation him, stop him from cheating, stop him from going out, stop him from engaging in extramarital, stop that, let him focus on me, let us stop fighting. Well, that's phase 1. Okay, and many of you, after y'all get out of phase 1, y'all call my marriage restored. No, sweetie. That ain't even the point of restoration, right? Because now look at these 4 years that we were going through. After we were in a good place, after my husband had stopped seeing other women, after that, there was still the brokenness that I experienced, right? Then there was the break in our relationship, the relationship that we had together, the love that we had for each other that was contaminated. Right? The affection that we had for that was contaminated because I didn't have the affection that I was, so longing for my husband to have. While my husband was affectionate towards me, now I ain't so affectionate towards him. While my husband now was learning to love me again, I wasn't loving him. And I had to pray and ask the Lord to help me to love my husband again. Because guess what? Along this journey of praying for marriage restoration, have you all ever heard that song that said, when a woman's fed up, there ain't nothing you can do about it? Well, look here, I was at that place where there was so much distance emotionally with my husband. I had to pray and ask the Lord, help me to love him again. Okay, so we was at this period in our restoration where, and then the mistrust, I didn't trust him no more. Right? I didn't trust nothing he said. And then of course there were things that, I gave my husband reason to not trust me. So there were both ways, right? So he gotta learn how to trust me and I gotta learn how to trust him again. He was hurt over what I did. I was hurt over what he did. So now we both need healing. But then now there was this period of restoration, of deliverance that I was going through, healing and deliverance. And you guys, I wrote about that in my book, Healing and Deliverance for the Broken Wife. And as we move on, through Empower Wise Power Hour, I'm going to begin to talk a lot about deliverance again, because that's something that you guys need. Remember, I talked about when I said, God, if you can't fix this cannot be fixed, and I will be okay with it. That point of surrender, what did the Holy Spirit introduce me? He introduced me the ministry of healing and deliverance. Because, yeah, I needed my marriage to be restored. I needed my husband to be changed and transformed, but I needed to be healed, and I needed the deliverance first. And when I learned and understood deliverance, let me tell you something. Guess who was able to help walk my husband through deliverance? It wasn't my pastor. It was in the man's ministry. It was in a company of, godly men. It was me, his wife. Because now, when he saw the transformation that I was going through, it compelled him now to look at himself. I didn't have to tell him, you were dealing with this and you were dealing with that. I was looking at me. Like, look what God delivered me from. Look what I went through. Look at how I had deliverance. Look what I experienced. And because my husband was seeing that in me, he began to long for that for himself. So then he came to me and he asked me, he said, help me. Okay. Anyways, so now you would think 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That was 6 years. Then there was 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Now we 10 years now. We done 10 years into, we done 10 years into this thing. All right. We would have been, after we moved in 2011, our relationship started to get better. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 2016, the Lord told me it's time to tell my story. And I don't know what story that I needed to tell, because I didn't know that I have a story. So that's 5 years that we were, 5 years after the time that we had get caught into a better place. So we were in restoration. But restoration was still taking place. It wasn't a date or a time and we say, hey, our marriage was restored. Boom. That's it. Because one quote that I always said, that marriage restoration, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And some of you got to get ready for the marathon, because guess what? Even when the Lord bring your husband home, even when you all start to be in a good place and an extramarital affair isn't a problem, there are other problems that exist, right? Because then we had the emotional problems, the trust problems, and the financial problems that we were having as a result of the infidelity. And I tell you all, I could take an hour with this question, but anyhow, I gotta answer this question, right? So so now 6 years, we done 10 years now in this whole restoration journey. Even up until 2016, we've been in a good place. We've been having good moments, but there were still times that we still was dealing with stuff. And I didn't get rid of the triggers until I work on my deliverance. Not looking at what's going on my husband, but having the Lord deal with me, because I realized that I could be in a good place. I mean, marriage was already good, but my mind, I still had trauma in my mind. I still had the thoughts. Right? When I think about what I gone through, I was feeling it as if it had happened. So I needed the Lord to deliver me from the spirit of memory recall, as the Holy Spirit had revealed to me. It wasn't until, I began to just every time, work out your salvation with fear and trembling. The Bible says salvation is translated as deliverance. Work out your deliverance with fear and trembling. And the Lord didn't deliver me like all at once. It was as I dealt with one stage It was now time to go into the next stage, into the next stage, into the next stage. But here is the most important thing in that moment. I kept myself open to learning, right? Never think that I've arrived, or never think that, oh, I already had deliverance. Oh, God already dealt with me the spirit of fear. I already had trauma. Oh, I already. No, you have to be ever learning. Okay? Anyhow, that's a whole video in itself. Yeah, so how long is a marathon? And I think some people, if you start to look at the time with, a microscope, if you start looking at time under a microscope, you're going to get tired and tired and tired, because why? You looking at time. When I was going through, I didn't look at, oh, I was going through this 10 years, or I was dealing with this 2 years. So when I was finally out, it was like, whoa, because in 2016, when the Lord told me it's time to tell my story, and I didn't realize that I had a story to tell, like Holy Spirit took me back and said, this is what you've been through, this is what you've gone through, this is what you experienced. And I was like, oh yeah. And someone had asked me, well, how long did restoration take? I couldn't even tell how long, because I wasn't looking at the time under a microscope. Many of you got to stop looking at time. Oh, I've been going through this 2 years. I've been going through this 5 years now. Well, by golly, just buckle up, because you don't know when you're going to transition from that time, from that storm to peace, from chaos to peace. You don't know. When I transitioned into the time that I've been praying for, I didn't know, because I wasn't looking at the time. And when you look at the time, it's making the time longer. So guess what? About 11 years, right? 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 7. Oh my gosh, y'all, every time I count, this is getting longer. Every time I count, this gets longer. But that's just an idea of the timeline, you guys. So for those of you who think you've been going through it forever, because, oh, I've been dealing with this 12 months now. Oh, I've been dealing with this 6 months now. You got to stop looking at the time. Marriage restoration is not a sprint. It is a marathon, okay? Another question. Did you tell your husband that you were standing for your marriage to be restored? And if so, how did he respond? No, I did not tell my husband that I was standing for my marriage to be restored. Me standing for my marriage, actually, it was much different than when you guys are standing. It was just between me and God. I didn't tell anybody, hey, I'm standing for my marriage. I didn't do that. It was just personal. My cries were personal. My beliefs were personal. My faith was all personal. Now, one person who was my pastor at the time, when I told him that I found out my husband was cheating, he was the one that said, okay, now you got to make a decision. What you gonna do? Yeah, I hear you, but what you gonna do? Are you gonna fight for your marriage, or you gonna throw it away? And that's, if many of you can testify, yeah, I going through this, and Military, I'm going through that, and this is what I dealing with. My question is still, okay, what you gonna do? You gonna fight, or you gonna let it go? Because that's the foundation of your decision. And guess what? Many people be like, I'm going to fight for my marriage. I'm going to stand. But when the fire get 10 times hotter, I retreat. I surrender. And the fire is going to get hotter. Not because you decide that you're going to fight and you're going to devote to prayer and you're going to give to fasting and believing in God. That don't mean it's going to be easier. In fact, it's going to go in a whole different direction. So did I tell my husband that I was standing? Absolutely not. It was personal. I didn't share it with anyone. I didn't have people, stand with me in prayer. I didn't have the YouTube. I didn't have the resources that exist today. And that's why, you guys, I'm so passionate about like everything I do as it pertains to marriage restoration. When I do the coaching, courses, training, whatever it is, I'm always thinking about things that I needed back when I was going through. What resource would have helped me? What need is there that you guys are having that would be helpful, right? So I didn't have the support that you guys have. um it was a very, very lonely road. It was a very lonely road because I felt as if I was the only person doing the fighting for the marriage, because I didn't see other people fight for their marriage. I didn't hear testimonies. um I didn't have no one to like pat me on the back and say, keep going, God is gonna do it. And you guys have examples of other people that said, hey, God restored my marriage so he could do it for you. I didn't have that. I didn't have that. I saw marriages fail around me left, right, and center. I see wives going through such difficult times. As a matter of fact, before I was going through in my marriage, I vowed that I will never deal with that. I would never. And let me tell you something. When the tables were turned and it was my time to go through the storm, I was the very one that said I could never, doing the very things that I said I would never do, and I could never deal with it, and I could never handle, right? The deal breakers. Oh, I would never stick around if that happened. But guess who was sticking around when that happened? Because at first it was because of the value of my husband, the love that we had, the memories that we had together. He was my best friend. At first it was because of that. But child, let me tell y'all something. Y'all know this some hot fire. Marriage restoration, standing for your marriage, dealing with the shame, the disappointment, the disrespect. Child, listen, that ain't for the weak. And if you may be a person who say, hey, I'm Meltori, I can't deal with that because I am weak, well, you got to strengthen yourself. You got to do what's necessary in order to strengthen yourself. Strengthen your mind, right? Strengthen your spirit. Whatever, you need strength, and you need the strength of the Lord. I ain't trying to tell y'all to do nothing within your own strength, because with you in your own strength, you ain't going to be able to handle this. It's the strength of the Lord. And this is something that I've said a long time. I said it before, I'll say it again. One of my coaching clients, she said, Tori, you're a strong woman, and I'm just not that strong. Well, let me tell y'all something. If you feel that you're going through this and you ain't strong, welcome to the club. Because I wasn't a strong woman that got through this because I was strong. This journey made me strong. This journey that I went through, it made me a strong woman, strong in my faith, strong in my spirit, strong in my conviction, like strong in so many areas of my life. The journey that I went through made me strong. Look here, to deal with the disrespect that I have dealt with in the small community that I lived in, that take a mental capacity out of this world. But how did I get that mental capacity that I needed? By going through it. I see a lot of people, oh, he disrespected me. Oh, he dishonored me. What do you expect in a battle that you're in? Oh, he don't treat me like I'm his wife. What do you expect in the battle that we are in? I mean, look at the natural war that is going on. I mean, lines are being crossed, humanity being diminished and listen here, babies are being desecrated. There is no line that exists when you fighting. But people don't fight fair. You ain't fighting fair in the natural. They don't fight fair in the spirit. I was on a broadcast. She said, I had to put my husband out because he was being disrespectful. What do we expect in the fight for marriage? Oh, I had to, you know what? I just had to leave because my husband was being disrespectful. What do we expect? This is a dirty battle. You just have to put your big girl pants on and said, I will not be shaken. I will not be moved. Okay? Anyways, you guys, listen here. I hope this has been a blessing to somebody. Again, you guys, today's broadcast was inspired by, I posted on my YouTube community just asking you guys, what would you want me to speak about, and just going over some questions that were asked. So I hope this brings clarity to many of you, to some of you. But let me tell you something. This you have to a couple of things that is important in this journey. Building up your spirit, your healing and your deliverance. I think most first and foremost is getting the understanding of it, because you as every time you get cut, you got to learn how to deal with the wound, right? And as you are actively involved in it, it's not just going to be a one time, hey, I've gone through healing, I've gone through deliverance, so I'm okay. No, you have to learn how to do it, because self deliverance is something that you're going to always have to put yourself through as you're going through this, through this journey, right? And if you guys have not purchased my book, Healing and Deliverance for the Broken Wife, I want to encourage you, go ahead and get a copy. That was the turning point. I believe in myself. I was going through this, because you all know this is a painful journey. This is a painful journey, and this could make, listen here, this could make or break you as a woman, not only physically as a woman, but as a woman of God. It could cause you to get bitter or better. So you just have to understand what's going on so that you can get better and not bitter. Okay? Again, you guys, this is Empower Wise Power Hour. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Empower Wise Power Hour, you guys, we drop a video twice a week, usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But you guys, your girl have been a bit busy. Just get some personal things going on. So bear with me. Hey, better than late than never. So I want to encourage you guys to make sure that when you come off this broadcast, make sure you give the video a like, a thumbs up, just to let YouTube know, hey, I watched this, I like this, the information is good. Make sure you let somebody else watch it, because I believe that there is somebody out there that need to hear what we're talking about, that need to be encouraged, that need the information that exists to help you along the journey. Okay, so thank you guys for joining me today in Paralyzed Power Hour. Remember, you guys, if you need some information, you need clarity, you need some direction, make sure that you go ahead to my website, www.empowerwise.com, and schedule your Power Hour consultation. This is where we're going to discuss some powerful things, give you some powerful strategies in 1 hour. And for those of you who are ready to work on a personal level and you are interested in coaching, go ahead and schedule your coaching consultation. I want to work with you. Listen, and we're going into a new year, and we're going into the new year with the new strategy, with just a new mindset, ready to face this thing head on. So thank you guys for joining me today. God bless you.